know y'all see the drip. You see how we coming, style and grace with cakes with my guy Jake Tips, and we cut into fashion, music, and the culture right here. Stay tuned. I have a very special guest, my guy Jake Tips. What up, Jay? Talk to us. How you feeling?
Feeling good, you know, blessed to be here, blessed to be healthy, blessed to be alive.
I love it. I'm loving the fit too. You looking,
You know, thank you. You know.
Talk about it. What you got on today?
I have on Stussy top, I got a Stussy fleece, I got on Stussy Marc Jacobs, I got on Stussy jeans, and I got on Jordan Union Guava.
Yeah, man. I like that. I like that. I'm feeling. Don't forget about the grills. We see
and I
it.
got, you know.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So when would you say that? At what age did you think that you developed your own style?
I would say I remember being 5 or 6 years old. I remember the retro 11s. I remember being in class and looking across from the classroom. I seen a girl with a different color. And I remember that was probably the first time I went home and asked for something. That I could be like, yo, I want my bottom red on my shoe. And I just remember from that point, I just always wanted things to be a certain way. Like, I want this one, I want that one. I started really observing what other people were wearing.
Okay. At what age would you say that you thought about creating like your own sneaker? Like, when did you think like, wow, I think I want to do this and that, and like how? Because you made your own sneaker. So
it was, I would say, it was in between like maybe just I had stopped working at Foot Locker about like 8 years ago. And that was like fueling my high, like I was buying so much stuff, and then after Foot Locker, you know, a little bit of reselling, and then just like, you know, I think the goal for like having that case is you just want to stack them to the ceiling. You want to get as many you can, you want to be able to change, every time you go out, you want to have different flavor on, you want people always take pictures of you. And I started to like internally like feel like it wasn't the same, like it didn't really feel like the same anymore. So I just felt like what would kind of bring that back, and it was like more like customizing and stuff that was really one-on-one. Like I think we all like chase like exclusivity.
Correct.
Like I think we got that from growing up, like collecting like baseball cards, Pokemon cards, and stuff like that. So it's like we always wanted to have that rare. So I just think I wanted to find myself in a space where nobody else had this, and I think that's when I was like, all right, you know what? That's feeding me the same way like collecting all like the SBs and Jordans did.
How many sneakers you have?
Now, I would probably say I'm somewhere around maybe like 300 with a lot of selling, a lot of buying, selling, buying. Like my collection has been like bipolar almost.
What was like your highest, like how many, like what is the highest number of sneakers you had at one point?
I think I got to 550 before I started saying like, yo, I need a little bit more space in the crib. Like, before it was like, yo, I need to kind of like just shrink it down.
That is amazing. So what would you say is your favorite brand at the moment?
My favorite brand at the moment is definitely Stussy. Just because it gives me that OG Soho feel. I grew up, you know, hopping the train and, you know, skipping school, going to Soho when there was brands like BBC, Babe, Supreme, and Stussy. Those was the Soho stores. And I feel like out of all those brands, like Stussy's still the one to me that feels a little fun. At the moment, like everybody else kind of feels a little commercial. Okay. And so it's just like, you know, I'm rocking with them right now.
That's dope. Have you ever thought about like styling other people, or have you ever styled anybody, artists?
Yeah.
Or?
I've been hit up for it before, but I've never really like took it super duper serious, just because I think that I think me always being an artist, you think you box yourself in. You think like maybe that's somebody else's job, or somebody else could do that better than you. But I definitely think I can get to the point where I can understand like how fits maybe could come together on somebody else better than maybe they can just come together with me or something like that.
Yeah. Would you let anybody style you? You have like
I definitely think I would, just because.
Like who?
I'll let you start me.
That's hard. That's hard.
Just because I like to kind of have different looks now. I think that I don't always want to. I think I got so cozy that like sometimes I do need somebody to be like, yo, bro, we gotta
tighten up.
You know, we gotta tighten up. We going somewhere today. We gotta do something else.
I feel you. I definitely get stuck sometimes in that comfort zone.
Yeah.
I just be wanting to look fly and comfy, nothing else. Like, So you mentioned growing up and watching that girl in your class have the red bottom on her sneakers.
Yeah.
What was your favorite trend maybe growing up in fashion?
In between like big hoodies, full zip, and
Good times.
maybe like just the foam posit era. I feel like the foam posit era was real like thorough New York. Like I feel like if you look at
I remember that.
if you look at like a lot of different like transitions with fashion, I feel like the foam posit was New York.
It was
Like
big,
foam
yeah.
posit, Nike boots, that was New York. Like everywhere else is kind of like just some stuff you see on the internet.
Let's talk about the hats. When did you realize this is
Yeah.
it?
And I just started, just like, me and you before we turned the camera on, we were talking about merch and stuff like that. So it's me, I used to always kind of brand things when it came to the projects. Like whenever I was dropping new music, I would kind of just try to make a t-shirt, make a hoodie, make some sweats. And, I was just wearing so many Yankee fitteds that people were like, you always got a Yankee fitted on. So just one time I just went to a store, I went to Lids, I put my logo on the side of it. And then when you start seeing people ask for it, then you start doing a little pre-order, and then more people asking for it, and then it just started to really just keep going. So just like anybody else, you find like a little lane, you just kind of just stick with it.
So when your hats took off, they like I would look at Instagram and I would see hats everywhere between like Disney and just everybody. Everybody was repping your shit. How has your personal life been like affected with the growth of your hats?
It's been tough. I still feel like I'm dealing with that part of it. I feel like people see me moving around, even like celebrities wearing the hats and stuff, but it was a point when, all the inventory, the orders and stuff, felt like the world was caving in. Like even with all the new followers and like the boost of love, it just felt like just my reality had kind of turned upside down. Like it was nice, I didn't have nowhere to sleep because I just had just labels everywhere, boxing tape and stuff, and just having to kind of just understand that you need to expand. Like you gotta go, today I have to go get an office, today I have to, almost like start working for yourself. So it was the mental part of it was the hardest part that I'm still still trying to like overcome with, but I appreciate the love so much, but it's almost like I had to catch on to the love late because it was almost like everything was just shocking. Like my DMs went from just being like casual me, just commenting on people's stories to now just order inquiries and yo bro, what's up, yo, nice to meet you, can you please open this? Like even if I post a picture right now, even social experience, it'll be somebody in comments like, hey, can you check the DM, check the DM. So it just, it's been tough, but
There's a part of it.
Yeah, people have worse problems.
Yeah, no, definitely. Those are good problems to
Yeah,
have.
good problems.
What artists have worn your hat? Like, which one was your favorite, maybe, or artist that you was like, oh shit, like, how'd you get it?
I think my favorite has to be Fab, just because Fab reached out to me personally. But the biggest probably look was Chris Brown. But Chris Brown is so like famous that it was like 8 levels to how it got to him. Like it was like a stylist came and that stylist works for somebody else, and then they had to reach out for clearance, and and then I seen it on like TMZ. Like it was just like, man, that was like real super duper like industry, like a way that you seen like I wake up and everybody sends me screenshots and stuff like that. So it's been surreal.
That's amazing. Let's switch it up a little bit. How would you say hip hop has influenced your style?
I feel like hip hop is everything. I feel like it's always been the biggest reference. I feel like growing up, I didn't want to look like anybody other than a rapper. I feel like, even the legends that are still in the game now are the legends that I just always modeled my own personal style with Kanye, Pharrell, and stuff like that. So hip hop has been everything.
So you mentioned, waking up one day not having a place to sleep. So you got your office.
Yeah.
How was that like?
That's been it's been surreal too, just because I think that I've been like just hustling for so long, that you sometimes you look at expenses like it's like almost like you don't even have it because you remember not having it.
Mm-hmm.
So
You get scared.
yeah. So it, you know what ended up happening is I had a pop up in the Bronx, Halloween, and where I had the pop up next door, the same people that rented me the space, they had like office vacant, warehouse vacant, and it was just like they gave me a tour. It was just like, if you're interested, you can move in next week. And I was like, yo, I'm so serious. I'll give you the deposit. I'll be here the next day. So it was just me going from that, like going to storage and just being in the office. And it's just like things had got so crazy that within a month I was in the office. And then within a month I had 2 storage units in the office.
Wow.
And then within another month I had the office and a whole warehouse. So,
all of them in the Bronx?
All of them, and then pretty much in the kind of the same place. It was like I just started to like, everything I was doing in my living room, I had suppressed it so much that the moment I let it out, it kind of just like led to a lot of growth. And I think even for anybody that's like an entrepreneur right now, I think just to kind of understand that you expanding doesn't just always mean like you're going to be coming out your pocket more. It's going to be, open more doors, more avenues, more space for creativity. Even I had opportunities to hire people.
Nice.
So, and that, it felt weird at first because I like relinquishing the responsibilities. Like, all right, now you can do this, you can do that. Now I can sit back on my laptop and just get back to creating. And it felt so foreign just because I had almost like started working militant. And it's good, but it's also good to remind yourself like, of what you got going on and how far you came.
Big. I respect it. So, J Tips, I want to rewind a little bit. We were talking earlier about the first time that we kind of like met each other, and I remember it was around when you dropped Hype Beast. Was it 1 or 2? It was 2. And I remember just seeing your promo everywhere, and the growth has been beautiful. What number album are you working on now?
This would be my 13th album. I think Hype Beast 2 may have been like 8 or 9.
That was 2016.
2016, yeah. So I've been really like consistent when it came to my music, just because early on trying to get a lot of recognition, trying to really figure out like the strategy to kind of make it work online. It was like, what do you need? You need to have things always out. Like blogs aren't gonna post you if it's not recent. You're not gonna really get a lot of show traction or inquiries if you're not putting things out frequently. So I used to always try to say, let me at least have a project every year. So just throughout that time, is you also learned that it was also like insanity, like you just doing the same thing. So around that time, you mentioned Hype Beast 2. It was the first time I even headlined the show, which was
great show, by the way.
Which was at Santos Party House. Rest in peace to that venue. And I had merch. It was, I think it was over 500 people in the building just for like an indie artist. It's just pretty good to kind of cap at that number. And just throughout that point, like you mentioned, growth is, it's such an up and down when it comes to that stuff, because it was like at that point it was almost like it felt like so close, like I'm this close, and then you start to see maybe people from that point less gravitated to the music and started gravitating more to my style.
So how do you balance that?
It's tough. I'm not gonna lie. I've had a lot of nights where it was like, why do people want to see a full body more than they want to see a full body of work? Like they want to see what I wore to the show more than the recap video where you hear me rapping. So it was nights where I had to question like what my passion was, and what exactly am I doing everything for, and where am I actually trying to go with it. But it was also like a marriage. Like you had to realize that one comes with the other. Like you could get booked for a show, and if everybody only want to whisper in your ear, like yo bro, I've been trying to hit you. I've been trying to hit you for that fitted or something like that's not a bad thing, because some people don't know nobody. So it's definitely been a constant battle of just who's J Tips the creative and who's J Tips the artist. But I'm still bridging the gap to just kind of like have an understanding that everything is still in house, it's still me.
That's amazing. That's gems right there. When you're getting ready, let's say for your show or for any type of show, what's that process like? Like what are you listening to? Like do you just feet up? Do you just half hat first and then down? Like, what's that process
Like,
like?
it's definitely feet first. For a long time, people could probably look at my gram. I always just wore a Navy Yankee hat. So it's like me selling so many hats and designing so much hats has me kind of in my hat bag now, like switching it up. But I used to, it was definitely feet first. What I have in the headphones is always just like the instrumental to kind of teach myself a routine of just like, if I'm thinking about what to say next, I'm gonna forget something. So I just kind of make it kind of muscle memory, words and stuff like that. Like I'll even like go to the bathroom a million times and just kind of just keep it to myself. But from that, like getting dressed, I'll definitely say feet up. The hat is probably always gonna be a Navy hat. And that's probably like whatever I'm selling. Cause I always feel like I'm the biggest ad.
Yeah.
If somebody sees it
You're
on
the best
me,
model.
yeah, if somebody sees it on me, they don't want it. Like you can sell 20 stocks, but if you took a picture in one color, that's gonna be the one that people start checking out. So, you know, that's right. Day of routine.
Yeah. How would you describe, style? What's the definition of style to you?
I think style is just, it's a pretty simple explanation, just expressing itself. Like how do you feel today? Even from like when I design, I kind of want to dictate how you feel. But a personal style is, how you, like what you got to do today depends on what you're going to throw on. If you just lounging in the crib, that's a home style. And if you got to go somewhere, that's a style. So I just think it's all about like just your routine.
What about grace?
Grace, I think grace is just, just keeping it humble, being confident.
Yeah, I agree. What's next? What can the people, look out for?
So what's next is I recently just announced that my album is gonna drop soon. I've been working on that for over a year and change. But it's just like life has hit me so fast, so hard that it's been like constant breaks. Where it's just like, it's tough to write music, it's tough to record music when, you have 1,000 hats to ship. I know there's no bullshit, like we have 3,000 things to literally do. So I finally found a way to kind of like push it out before it felt too dated, just personally. I considered the name Savior 2 just because every album, like you said when you met me, Hypebeast 2, my brand was, I think a lot of people don't know that I call my brand Savior because that's just the name of my album. Yeah, that's just the name of my album. Like when I was Hypebeasting it up, everything said Hypebeast on it. So, but it's just I've been so blessed that I've had to literally turn Savior into a brand because people responded to it so much. So, we just keeping the boat going, just keeping the car on the road. So Savior 2, and we just gonna keep the fly shit out there.
I love it. Who would you say, like, or maybe it's a group of people, who would you say motivated you at your, maybe, I don't want to say your lowest, but at a point that, somebody was either in your ear or visually was just like, yo, you gotta keep going, or just motivated you, like some advice that you could give to other, brands that are on the rise, or?
Yeah, you gotta, my biggest motivation was my kids. Sometimes when I make decisions, I ask myself, what would they say if I explained to them this is why I didn't do this? Like, they wouldn't understand. They would just, like, your feelings was hurt? Like, what? Like, you didn't want to get a job? Like, so that's always my biggest expectation. Like, explanation is where I would tell them. But I think for just creatives and people who, like, sometimes get down on themselves or they really, like, suffer from strong FOMO, or people who suffer from like the why not me syndrome, like they see you doing well and they wonder why not them. It's just kind of like, you just gotta find your why. I feel like when you understand what's the reason and core reason why you're doing things, you find more purpose. You find more purpose in it. Like if you go to work every day because you want to make your mom, just more comfortable. You gotta work hard instead of just maybe just going to work every day thinking it's because of clothes or thinking it's because of something else. It's like, nah, I go to work every day because I gotta keep these lights on. That's the why. And then you find different purpose in your journey, in your struggle, because the struggle can be beautiful. It's all about how you continue to paint your picture, mold your framework for everything you have going on.
So do your kids, like, would you say that they're getting into the sneaker game or the music game? Like, do you see them falling into that?
My son is big in like the game world. But I think that's all kids do. Kids, they be on their little tablets, they be on like the PlayStation and stuff. And my daughter, she's actually into like arts, even though she's only 3. She already likes makeup. She likes like coloring. She draws and stuff like that.
That's beautiful. I think that we live in a time where now we chilling right now. We live in a time where everything is not so structured, and I say that in the sense that like if I have a child, let's say, and they're not good at math, but they're amazing at basketball, we live in a time where we're gonna support them in basketball, and you know, not saying that don't go to school or whatever, but I'm gonna, you know, support you in basketball 1000%. Where back in the days, you know, everything was like you have to go to college, you have to go to school, you need a degree, you need an office job, like this and that. So I think, you know, that's amazing, and that your daughter's 3 and already like, you know, creative, because at the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah, I think the generation before us, they didn't really see things work. But we've seen like our peers, we've seen it happen so many times for others where we can't let people kind of scare us out of like, you know, our passions and stuff like that. So I think what we do with our kids and stuff is definitely gonna be just different. It's gonna open the world up.
Dope. I have one more final question. Is there anyone in particular that you really want to get maybe a hat to, or even like your sneakers? I think your sneakers are so dope. I wish I was able to get my hands on them. But like anybody that you just,
I would love to get a hat to, I just think the most important person probably in like this culture relevancy is probably like LeBron. I think like if you could get like a hat to LeBron or like even like your shoe. Just like he's like top dog Nike, top dog, and like he has the most eyes on him at all times. I think that would be kind of like you did that shit. You did that shit.
Facts. That's listen, it can happen. If you actually use this right here.
You know, seeing and believing.
Facts, manifesting. Who inspires you musically? Like obviously Kanye, Pharrell, because I know the fashion, so I know musically they have to. So who else?
So I listen to a lot of Brent. I listen to a lot of Lucky Day. Currently, I listen to a lot of like Chef G and Sleepy Hollow. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I have like a balance of like trying to kind of understand exactly what's happening around me, but also kind of like feeding into like those voices inside of me that just like, you know, the emotional strains and stuff. So I listen to a ton of R&B, but I also try to listen to a lot of the young rappers just because I feel like that's what you need to understand, like where we going and where we, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's a lot of what I'm listening to now. Like if you just pull up my phone, probably a lot of Dirk too, a lot of Lil Durk.
Durk is hot right now. Who could we do? Can we see anybody on the like? Who we expecting on the album?
The way my musical system is I engineer my own stuff. So I record at night. I record at night, and people haven't even known that I've been working on music, so I don't have any features on it. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I've been working on songs with people, but I think that because this is something I think people are gonna be looking forward to, because they haven't heard music in a while from me, I just wanna, nobody's heard nothing, so it's just like
I respect it.
They're gonna like press play when the day comes out, they're gonna be like, I don't know, he didn't miss a step.
You don't miss, because I had to, you know, prior to today, I had to kind of catch myself. I had to tune up and stuck in her grind. I was like,
oh, stuck in grind.
Sheesh. Shit, and I got that J-Tips feature coming up too. So, you know what I'm saying? We working out here. But yeah, yo, it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate you coming in today. Looking fly, spinning some gems. Yeah, man. So you already know, stay tuned. Style and Grace with Cakes. J-Tips here. Let's clock out. Yeah, man.